Well, this season has had its ups and downs in Destiny. So, I've heard the new season, gameplay wise and story wise, solid. Great. Personally, I haven't really had the chance to play the season through all the crashing and poor optimization on PC. My frame rates are poor, if stable. So, from what I've heard, season's great, and we're on a good track now, unlike last season. And I hope this progresses and continues. But today, we got a business plan, I guess, from Bungie and Pete Parsons. And this is really exciting to see. It has a lot of cool stuff in it. So, first off with this release, I'm going to talk about the expansion of Bungie Studios and their locations. By fall of 2022, they plan to increase their headquarters from 84,000 square feet to more than 208,000 square feet. It's more than double. So they're going to be having their employees on site by then, hopefully. And this will help with the development of not just Destiny 2, but their new IPs in the future. Because you can see that they've been having problems caused by the pandemic. Because, Shadowkeep wasn't perfect. That was their first release. That was them. And only them. No help. It had some bugs. But Beyond Light is a buggy mess. And hopefully it gets sorted out. But I think a lot of that has to do with people working from home and not being able to work together in a more collaborative environment. So hopefully that will help. And being that they hired a lot of new employees and a lot of them haven't even been inside the current headquarters, yeah, they needed to increase the size of their building. So maybe that'll help make the game more stable and continue the story we're on now and keep making the game better from a technical and a story-driven standpoint. So there's good stuff so far. And then in 2022, same year as their headquarters being enlarged, they're going to have a new office in Amsterdam that's going to be focused on growing the publishing and marketing divisions, which I think their focus with this, it's not probably going to affect, say, myself, being that I live in the U.S., it's going to affect more of their international, especially Europe, because the way I'm reading it, they want to unify and expand their player base all around the world. And I feel like Amsterdam is just their way to inject themselves more into the European gaming community. Maybe that's handling more of the publishing and marketing worldwide than I realize. So they've also hired new personnel and changed some, not necessarily changed positions, but changed the titles of positions. So they have new leadership personnel, new chief technology officer, new chief financial officer, general counsel. Destiny has seemingly small changes, but actually the way I'm reading it and the way I'm thinking about it, these are actually pretty substantial changes, actually. So Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith are still basically at the top of the IP, but they're preparing it for additional media, like the universe, the IP, additional media. That could mean in the future we'll get more books, comics, anime, maybe live action movies and shows. Who knows what's going to happen there? But that's seemingly what's going to happen. And then Justin Truman will be the general manager for Destiny 2. That's basically the role of Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith currently. So the comment about Luke Smith's Fantasyland, about deleting Nova Warp and all that, I don't think that'll happen now. Because I think Luke Smith has been more pushed into a hands-off when it comes to the development and more hands-on the story and creative aspects, especially in other mediums. So this is a good change, I think. I think Luke Smith, his strong point is more the creative and story side than the technical side and gameplay side of Destiny. So I think this is actually really good to hear. And then finally, our last point under the key personnel additions. They're talking about the new IPs and their incubation team. So, if you keep in touch with what's happening at Bungie and all that, they're planning on releasing a new IP by 2025. I think that's been said since before the split from Activision. I may be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. We're pretty sure it's going to be called Matter, or that's at least an in production name, like Rainbow Six Quarantine or whatever they do decide to call it internally is apparently called Parasite, and how different movies will have different names when they're in production to keep secret what they're making sometimes. So yeah, it's good to hear that they're putting more new blood into the new games so that we can see that it isn't the people making Destiny making the other games, and it's not either one being a skeleton crew. They're both getting assistance. It's not Destiny is made by a skeleton crew or the new IPs are made by a skeleton crew. No, they have different teams, and that's really good to see now. So the last point here is about their new members for their board of directors. So they've added their second and third member of their external members of the Bungie board, meaning that these people are part of the board of directors, but they're not really Bungie employees necessarily. So basically, they have someone from NetEase. He was the first, Simon Zhu. I'm really bad at the names. I probably pronounced that wrong. It happens. So now they've added Trace Harris and Pamela Kaufman. Trace Harris works in the finances of a software engineering company, and Pamela Kaufman is the president of Viacom CBS. Sorry. Wow. So hopefully, because a lot of connections are made in these ways, so maybe we'll see some new, maybe future IPs will have dedicated servers, or in the future, Destiny will possibly, through connections with different software companies, I guess. We may see some improvements based on these connections, is what I'm saying. But I think the major one, especially looking back to the change in Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith's position, is Pamela Kaufman. And I think this is a very important position that she holds. She's president of Viacom, which, whatever your opinion on Viacom is, that's probably pretty okay for fans of Destiny, at least the story and lore of Destiny. So if you don't know, Viacom owns CBS, Nickelodeon, MTV, Comedy Central, BET, Showtime, Paramount. They own a lot. They're one of the massive media companies. So earlier when I said that we're going to see Destiny in new mediums, if you thought that'd be maybe Hulu or Disney Plus or Netflix, no, you're wrong. If it comes to a streaming service, it'll without a doubt be Paramount Plus. So, whatever your opinions on Paramount Plus are, if you have it, that may be really good for you. If you don't have it, you may either not be interested in Destiny live action content or anime, however they do it, or maybe you open your wallet for it. We'll have to see what is made and where it comes out, but right now I'm willing to bet money that we will see a Destiny live action film or series, possibly an anime, on Paramount Plus within the next 3 to 6 years. I'm willing to put money on this. It's gonna happen. But yeah, that's the end of the release and the end of this video. If you like it, like. If you want to subscribe, do it. Comment, whatever. It's your choice. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.